of Berserk is based off the manga series written by Kentaro Miura. The anime series starts off with a man named the Black Swordsman, who walks the land with a massive sword on his back. He calls himself Guts, and wherever he goes, demons follow. He bears the brand of sacrifice on the back of his neck, which acts like a magnet for demons. But because of Guts' great physical strength and giant sword, all the demons die very quickly. Guts is a man with a haunted past, a past that we learn about in great detail in the anime series, which is mostly one giant flashback. The events of episodes 2 through 25 focuses on Guts' life as a member of the group of mercenary soldiers, the Band of the Hawk, which he was forced into joining when he couldn't defeat the charismatic leader Griffith. Griffith is determined to become the king of Midland, and his loyal band of warriors, especially feisty female soldier Casca, all support him in his goal. The anime tells the story of Griffith's rise to power and his great downfall, as well as the tragedy of the Band of the Hawk, which is fuel for the vendetta that Guts has against Griffith, as we see him in the first episode. The story contains elements of both fantasy and horror, as it explores both the best and worst of human nature. The anime focuses on the worst, however, and both the manga and the anime are noted for their heavy violence. I watched this series by request of Blues Up Erman, who wanted me to watch and review this series. I knew nothing about it going in, so I didn't have any expectations, good or bad. I was instantly drawn into Berserk's world with its story of war and political intrigue, as well as characters who were three-dimensional and multi-layered. So layered, in fact, that I was actually caught off guard, in a good and a bad way, by their actions from time to time. Guts and Griffith served as really great foils to the other, which is made clear in their appearance as well, since Guts is a giant guy with dark hair, and Griffith has a much more elegant appearance. But they're very different people as well, because Guts usually refrains from involving others in his plights, where Griffith rarely dirties his hands and delegates his power like a proper Machiavellian politician. He freely manipulates others, caring only for his ultimate goal, while Guts, though he would never admit it, values the lives of others and strives to protect them. And this leads to Guts' desire to first be acknowledged by Griffith as a friend, for him to step away from Griffith and fight for himself, whatever that means. Griffith's feelings for Guts aren't made as clear, and one has to wonder if Griffith was actually in love with Guts. The rest of the characters are also interesting. I know people are expecting me to say something about Casca, so I'll say that I enjoyed her character for her ability to command respect from her subordinates, and I sympathized with her because of her position in the story of being a woman, but not letting herself want what most women want, which is to have a life alone with the man she loves, which is Griffith, at the start of the story. And also with her struggle that came from having to fight for respect because of her sex, but she wasn't my favorite character. But when I watched the subs, her voice bugged the crap out of me because I know I had heard it before, so I finally looked it up, and her seiyuu was Asuka from Evangelion. But anyway, I didn't land on a favorite character till 2/3 of the way into the story when Judah talked to Guts about doing something about the tension between him and Casca. After that, I thought, Judah for the win, yo! He acts like the much-needed, level-headed guy, and he really believes in being loyal to his people. The other characters were great too, like Pippin, who's a gentle giant figure, Corcus, who's actually appealing for being such a loudmouth jerk, and Ricket, who added some refreshing innocence to the story, because this series is so dark and tragic. And it has a wonderful epic tale quality to it, like a Greek tragedy with a side of Beowulf. It's all about this person's rise and fall to power, and how that affects countless people, and if that dream was justified anyway. There's politics in this too. The wars that are going on in this series don't stop on the battlefields. There's power struggles in this series, as well as the personal demons that everyone has to deal with. And people in this series react two demons in one of two ways, both figurative and literal demons. They either lie down before them or they fight them. There's also a lot about why people choose to fight, if it's for survival or wanting more for yourself, if it's right or if it even matters, because fate or God, that thing that's incredibly bigger than our imagination, that has some sort of plan for us, can we defy that? Do we actually have a choice? So this series has brains and expects you to keep up with it, asking yourself these questions about politics, war, personal motivations, and fate. I mentioned the voice acting before, and I would like to say that I think both the Japanese and English voice cast for this anime are both good, and you could easily watch one episode in English and the next in Japanese. If I'm going to expand on aesthetics, I could say something about the animation. This anime was made in 1997, and it shows. The anime hasn't aged very well, but that really doesn't bother me at all, and I think it's a bit unfair, honestly, to compare the animation of today's series to Berserk. I think it's like comparing the aesthetics of the original series of Star Trek to The Next Generation to Voyager to the Star Trek movie that just came out. But there were some things in this series that did annoy me quite a bit. The ending. It all pretty much comes from the ending. This series ends on the worst cliffhanger of probably anything I've ever watched, and I really can't say much without spoiling the ending, but I'll give a metaphor to explain my feelings. I liken the experience of watching the series like this. I go to Culver's. Let's say they're giving away free shakes, because it's free shake day. Whatever. So I decide to get cherry, because I've never had it before. Turns out it's awesome. Cherry is one of the best shake flavors ever. But then, a Japanese guy drops from the sky, steals my shake, and throws the bill at me when it was supposed to be free in the first place. It's like, what the fuck just happened? Where's my damn shake? Plus, I was greatly annoyed with the questions I was left with. What happened to, Ricket and Casca? It has read the manga ending. Like I said with my review of Iran, unless the manga series ends on a cliffhanger, you don't leave loose ends in your series. It's honestly just sloppy storytelling. You either make fillers or you make your own ending. So, for its memorable characters, thought-provoking storylines, and well-written plot, weighed against its craptacular ending that stops cold, I give this series an 8.5 out of 10. So, who do I recommend this to? I have to say, first up, you can't be squeamish about violence or sex if you're going to watch this series. I'm not going to say an age number because I think age is greatly overrated in determining maturity, but you have to have a certain level of maturity to be able to handle Berserk. I mean, I can handle a lot of blood, gore, and sexual trauma in a story, but even I had to turn away from the screen at some points. Also, you have to be able to handle cynicism and tragedy in your stories to enjoy this series. This anime is not a light, fluffy tale that you watch to perk yourself up if you've had a crappy or dull day. This is for people who like war stories where soldiers occasionally monologue about being soldiers, and for people who like epic battles, torrid, tragic romance, and free will philosophy. Before I finish, I recommend, if you haven't already, check out the dub bloopers of this series. They're the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. Auf Wiedersehen!